let me request Rajiv Rattan, who is the Director of Department of Higher Education, Government of Haryana, to talk about specifically something which with the major initiatives of the department, and specifically if you can also talk about any IT interventions.
Good afternoon, everyone. As my colleague here, Mr. Desai, has talked about the interventions of Goa, I would like to give a holistic approach about what exactly is envisaged with regard to education and skilling in the new India, and then specific about what initiatives we have taken in Haryana. When we talk about education and skilling in India, the one thing which comes to my mind is the National Education Policy of 2020. The 16 deliverables of quality, multidisciplinary approach, optimal learning, teacher education, internationalization, ethics, promotion of Indian art, language, culture, and there are other parameters. I think these are the 16 deliverables which are very important to understand how education is going to go further in the future. The importance of the national education policy can be made out from the fact that Honorable Prime Minister has done a meeting of the Chief Secretaries of all the states at Dharamshala in July, where he has emphasized on access, quality, and future readiness of education. When we talk about access, we talk about access to the minorities, to the disadvantaged people in the society, and specific to the weaker gender. The weaker gender as envisaged in old times, but for me, the empowered gender in the new times. Now coming to Haryana, with regard to the 16 deliverables, we have taken a lot many initiatives. The budget speech of the Honorable CM Haryana, Shri Manohar Lal Khattar, we have planned to set up an Institute of Emerging Technologies, which will take care of the new technologies which are coming in the IT field or in science field. Because whenever we come to government, we are always talking about technologies which are already present in the system. But the technologies which are emerging and which should be taken up by government, they are not taken care of. So this Institute of Emerging Technologies being planned at Gurugram under the aegis of the Gurugram University. Then we are proposing research and innovation in 6 multidisciplinary fields, taking it from the Vedas: Agni, Jal, Vayu, Van, and environment. So there is going to be a competition with the state universities and the private universities to get grants in research and development from the state of Haryana on competitive basis. They are going to put up their proposals and it will be evaluated by the department and the government, and requisite grants will be given to them. With regard to Indianization and internalization, the universities in Haryana, to mention MDU and KUK, the Maharishi Dayanand University in Rohtak and the Kurukshetra University in Kurukshetra, they are coming up with online courses in study of Vedic arts, culture, astrology, palmistry, with regard to international students. So there will be exchange of Indian values with the international students vis-a-vis the Indian students. Another intervention which has been taken is that the Haryana government, to make the education more inclusive and accessible, we have at least one college in 20 kilometers radius of a place. If we map it with the aided colleges and the self-financed colleges, I think it will superimpose twice or thrice. So with a small state of population under 3 crores, we are having 178 government colleges, 97 aided colleges, and more than 200 self-financed colleges, with 10 state universities in higher education, 4 in technical education, and 20 in higher and technical education at the private level. Our Chief Minister is putting a lot of emphasis on the national education policy, and there are regular meetings to take the stock of situation. We also have a higher education council, which is not prevalent in almost every state of the country. Only a few states have made the higher education council, which guide the government in implementation of the higher education schemes and the national education policy. Taking a step further, with regard to skill, there is a skill university at at Palwal, the Vishwakarma Skill University, which is now trying to find out ways to engage prior learning into the credit-based system so that the unskilled or the people who are skilled but are not in the mainstream, how they can be brought into the mainstream so that they can get better career prospects and better remunerations. For example, a person who is working in Honda for the last 10 years knows more than a mechanical engineer who has just been recruited. But because he lacks a degree in the required discipline, he is not paid adequately. So these BO courses will enable him to negotiate better with the employer. Another aspect is the internationalization of the universities with foreign universities. All the Haryana universities are now doing collaborations with international universities for student exchange, teacher exchange, and even content management. So if we see that we always used to see education like a highway with parallel roads. Now it's more of a highway with radial roads coming into the system and going out of the system. I see the National Education Policy 2020 as a panacea to all ills if implemented in the right spirit. It's a very difficult task. We are also finding issues in implementing it at a college level. At university level, it is easy to implement the National Education Policy because you have multiple entry and exit system. But at a college level, in a district, you don't have that kind of setup. So we are planning a cluster-based based approach wherein if a person from the arts stream after 2 years wants to move toward a technical stream, there should be some kind of collaboration at a district level only so that the tenets of the national education policy may be followed. I think keeping in mind the paucity of time, Jalvayu, this is a very specific kind of research initiative which has been taken by the government of Haryana. We are, these are specific areas. So there will be a competitive bidding. Projects will be submitted by individual universities on specific issues. For example, JAL means water conservation, fire for fire incidents, then one for forestry. So each university which thinks that they have a very good setup in the specific field are going to compete on a state level and then they will get grants in that discipline. Thank you.